know that you're ready to make food at home that tastes great, doesn't break the bank, and is guest worthy. Hi, I'm Mariela.
And I'm Eric, and we're here to encourage you to make your own croutons, sharpen your kitchen intuition, and show you how versatile food can be.
We're breaking down all things cooking to their most practical, delicious, and doable basics.
Welcome to our kitchen.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the FoodFAQ podcast. I'm Mariela.
And I'm Eric.
And today, being our, what do they call that when a boat sails for the first time?
It's
our maiden voyage.
Maiden voyage. It's exciting.
Yes, it's so exciting. We talk about food literally all the time, right? We are not we've been watching food TV since we were children and talking about it. Absolutely. And I think the best way to start this off so you can get to know who we are is to kind of define what food and cooking means to us and how, the lens from which we view it. Right? Eric is he's shacked up, right? But he's single at the moment, but he's shacked up with a nice young man.
I did.
And yes. And I'm married with 2 kids, and we've known each other for, I don't know, 30,000 years.
Oh my God. This is the mid-90s.
Yes. So we decided to start on this adventure together. And so we're going to talk about food, right? What it means to us. So right now, you, single man about town.
That's right.
What does it mean to you?
So what food means to me is, like we talked about before, it's how I show my affection to people in a way. It's, so I entertain a lot. And so I think it's how I welcome people into my home. And, I don't know, that's such a good question. It's how I welcome people to my home. It's how I show affection. It's how I give gifts out to people. Because I think when you labor over something and you create this really awesome thing that everybody enjoys, that's just the best thing to give when you welcome people into your home. And so, yeah, what about you?
And isn't it also great when people ask you to make, oh, remember that thing you made? And you're like, that's right, baby. I made that.
Remember when we were in college and poor college students, and we would bake for the holidays for people because that's how we gave gifts out to people. And the chocolate chip cookies, exactly. And it was really exciting when people would ask if I could do that again, or when you would come over to my mom's house and we would make dinner together, things like that. And we would invite friends over and they would ask us to do it again.
I don't remember one thing we made except maybe enchiladas. I can't remember the things we made back then.
Do you know I still make those enchiladas today?
You know that I don't, because nobody in my house likes them. My children are anti-Mexican food, which is so stupid because it's cheese and crunchy stuff. You would think kids would like it, but not my kids.
Remember what you used to put inside of it to make it creamy?
Cheese.
Cottage cheese.
Cottage cheese, and not on toast. That was the most
amazing thing, and no one knew that there was cottage cheese in there.
Well, anyway, so now as an adult woman with people to feed every single day, I think about food differently, right? I like to make food for fun and to be flashy and cute, but really I think about food in an everyday kind of risk management situation, making sure they're fed, making sure it's affordable, and also making sure that I'm not raising chicken nugget kids, even if they don't like it, I make it, they try it. And today I made stroganoff and the kids were like, oh no. I mean, it's basically hamburger helper, but made from the house. But they, they have to deal,
Right.
That's how I see food. You definitely entertain and you make the best food.
Right. Well, I do. And you make amazing food too. But I think you and I also look at it from different perspectives. Number one, just like everybody, we're both on budgets. So even when I entertain, I have to entertain with a budget and mindset. And what's the best thing I can do? You duplicated yourself twice. So you have to actually determine, children and, how to maintain a household budget. But also, you also have to more so keep in mind, the health factor in the food that you give your children.
Right, so that they stay alive, right? The whole thing about kids is keeping them alive.
Yeah, try your best.
You know what I mean? And when they're first born, you're just like, I don't know if I could ever keep them alive. And then you just kind of keep doing it, right? And that's part of it. It's feeding them healthy food. And and I do it too because I want to know what's in their food, right? Like I like going out and getting served and all that and not having to do dishes at the end of the night. But I like to know like what's in it, right? Because every time I think about
Right.
Uber Eats, I think somebody's sticking their finger in my food. Do you ever think these thoughts?
No, but now I do. But
Yes.
they put the little tape around it, so you know if it's
It's
been
that
tampered
tape
with.
is for you to just feel good, but it's BS. It's not.
Listen,
That's feel good tape.
listen. Sometimes Uber Eats is a lifesaver. Okay, so
Yes, yes, and I've ordered, but
it
I
is.
can't like ugh.
But when you order like a $15 meal, it costs $30 because you're paying the fees and you're paying the. Um, yeah, I mean, of course you're gonna tip, but with all the fees added to it, and I think this is why we're here because I think cooking can be really simple if you just have the right things in your home and you have the right mindset and you do simple planning. It can be simple, but it can be also enjoyable and attainable. Not like a cooking show that makes you buy $200 worth of supplies just for one meal.
Right, we're not here for that. We're here to
No.
spend 200 bucks like a week is what I'm aiming for, which is almost impossible. I mean, it is impossible to spend 200 bucks a week on food for a family, but nowadays. But yes, absolutely. When you think about when you go to a restaurant, you spend 200 bucks like literally maybe two meals,
Yeah.
maybe.
Well,
So,
I don't know
all
what
right.
restaurant you're going to, but yeah, you spend $200
The
for two
ones you take
meals.
me to, Eric. I only go to restaurants when I see you.
So again, you had the children, so
I know, I did it myself. I know. You don't have to
But
remind me. So, yes, we're about simple, we're about learning technique, we're about being on a budget. And I think also, like this podcast, right? It's technically may not be great the first few episodes, right? But you keep on going and you just keep trying new things, right? And cooking is like, let's say you're someone who's kind of nervous to try new things. I think most people are, adults
yeah,
especially, right?
yeah.
Like cooking is like a low risk environment where you can try something new. It doesn't have to like break the bank. It doesn't have to be something like, you know, earth shattering, but you can feel good about it if it turns out right the third, the fourth time, you know?
Well, and like you said once too, well, like when you and I talked about, it, and you said it perfect. You said it's not always going to be perfect. So you're going to like not too long ago, I tried to make a burnt cheesecake for a friend, and I didn't have the proper pan because I threw it away, I guess. And so I took the recipe and split up into two small ones, and it,
No.
it came out like a hard cheese. So
You made brie.
I made
You
brie,
made brie.
but it wasn't perfect. But it was fun. I have to make it up to this person, but it was
Buy that
fun
pan.
to just try it. And as many times I made cheesecake, it was really upsetting that I messed it up. Um, but at the end of the day, we still had a good time making it, and the taste was good. The texture was horrible. So everybody's gonna mess up, and that's okay.
Right. Even no matter how good of a cook you are, you may forget to look for a pan, right? And it just happens. Not me though. That doesn't happen to me. For the record.
Oh, well, I'm glad, but let's not forget those pumpkin cookies we tried to make this fall
That wasn't me.
that turned
That
into like
was
little
you.
rocks. You keep adding
You,
more
ma'am.
flour. So that was you. That was not me.
No way. All right,
Yeah.
listen. Nah, I don't believe you. But all right, so what is oh, that was my phone because I should have put it on silent, but I didn't. All right, so what is cooking? So cooking is not perfect. It's not
Right.
supposed to impress anyone, right? It's
Right.
supposed to feed you.
Right. It's not going to be how you see it on cooking shows, or it's not going to be TikTok perfect. Um,
Ever.
I mean, some of those recipes are just made up to begin with.
Agreed.
So many of them. But I think one thing that food does, it brings people together. It brings families together, friends together, and in the crazy life that we all live, whether you have a family or not, it's that period of time, whether it's a gathering or a family dinner, it just brings you together,
Right.
for those moments.
And it's kind of like a little warm hug at the end of the day where you can just kind of sit down and just be, you know? I think we don't look at it that way anymore because everyone is insanely busy and like focusing on everything outside of the home. But honestly, when you have a home that is like warm and inclusive, right, where everyone feels heard, like that moment of the day, at least at my house, even if the TV's on, like
Right.
it's still like it feels good. It feels so good to just be together. And not that you couldn't have that if you had takeout, because you could, you know, no family can always have this happening every night, and I understand that. But there's something about it, right? Even if you just do it once a
And
week.
takeout's fun, but I think if you could have that family meal, like you said, just once or twice a week, it's not going to always happen. It's not going to always be perfect. Um, how many of us leave our homes at 8 o'clock in the morning and get home at 8, 9 o'clock at night? How many times does your husband, leave at the crack of dawn and come back later on in the evening? So it's a lot to do it every day, but I think with this podcast we can help people realize that it's attainable to do it when they want to do it.
And it's going to be delicious and it's going to save you money and it's going to make a lot of sense. And this is our first episode, and this one might be a little messy, but we're going to keep trying recipes for podcasts and we're going to keep enjoying each other's company.
Like we always have.
Yes, and make more of these. So,
Exactly.
thank you guys for listening so much. We'll be back with a new episode on, I don't remember what it's for, but I promise you're going to love it. It's going to
It's
be
gonna
a
be
pan.
it's gonna be fantastic. It's gonna be great.
All right, we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Food FAQ podcast.
Please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts so that more kitchen magicians can find us and invite you to their dinner parties.
Connect with us over on Instagram at FoodFAQ Podcast for more fun and recipes. See you there.